The US economy has been up against a lot of risks lately. Widespread economic uncertainty, higher prices from tariffs, a frozen job market, and now you can add a government shutdown to the list. The shutdown itself isn't expected to derail the economy, but that depends on how long the stalemate lasts. Economists estimate that each week the government is shut down shaves about 1/10 of a percentage point off of the nation's economic output for the quarter. And a small share of workers, less than 2%, work for the federal government. Some still continue to get paid if funding comes from areas outside of appropriations, but an estimated 750,000 federal workers will not. Federal workers will get back pay when the government reopens, but federal contractors won't. Really, where this starts to become tricky is when we talk about economic data collection. The BLS has said that it will not publish its monthly employment report for September, which was due to be released on Friday, and it will also pause the collection of data for its monthly CPI report, released later this month. The same is true for the Department of Commerce, which publishes GDP data, consumer spending data, and then a separate inflation measure that the Fed prefers to track. All of this creates major blind spots for the Federal Reserve at a time when they need all of the clarity they can get. Fed officials cut interest rates in September for the first time this year, as data started to show that the labor market was losing steam. They're expecting to cut interest rates in October and December too, but that depends on what the incoming data shows about the economy. Right now, the Fed has to toe this very careful line. They want to let up on the brakes a little bit because of how much the labor market has slowed, but they don't want to outright stimulate economic growth either, as inflation stays stubbornly above their target. All of that really shows that Fed officials don't know how much more room they have to cut. They were just hoping that incoming data could help guide the way. The case for cutting interest rates grows the more evidence Fed officials have that the labor market is weakening. But getting all of the evidence they need becomes harder the longer the shutdown lasts.